Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
And we're back for another Saturday morning show. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, wherever you are. Whether you're watching us somewhere in Europe, I want to say hi to all my cousins over in the Netherlands, in Holland there, or if you're over into Thailand or the Philippines or anywhere in Turkey, wherever you are, or coming the other way, if you're over on the west coast of the United States, we have people watching us down in Florida, all over the place. So just good morning, good afternoon. So glad you could join us. And good afternoon, especially to those that are listening to us on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Thanks for checking in with us on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. If you are watching us and you want to catch the show later on, remember, we're on channel 1301, 1301 on Spectrum, and you can watch us every day at 2 and 8, right? So we're rebroadcasting throughout the week. So glad you could join us. Well, I think I'm finally over most of my allergies. I think the rain has helped in the cooler weather. I hope you're doing just as well or better. This is a live show, and if you are interested in checking in with us, giving us a call, having a comment or announcement, give us a call, please. 753-5225. We hear from Linda quite often, but sometimes other folks throughout the area do like to check in. And also, if you have an announcement and you don't want to call in, or you're watching this later on in the week, send us an email at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. Happy to share your information. That's what we are all about. Now, if you're just checking in with us for the first time and you're just new to Chautauqua County and you're maybe vacationing here, I want to welcome you. This is a beautiful county and there is so much to do. But if you're new to the area, or even if you're not so new to the area, we're going to be talking about something that could probably save your life or somebody else's life that's near and dear to you today. We're going to be talking about water safety with Woodard, and she's proven to be an encyclopedia of good stuff and knowledge, and I've learned a lot from her. And this is we were just saying, 4th year in a row that she's come on the show, and having so many opportunities to be on the water here in Chautauqua County, I think it's just a good thing to kind of refresh our mind. So stay tuned. She's in the wings waiting to come on. Okay, a few other things to share with you. Our good friend and engineer Jeff Zook is riding for Roswell with his brother Galen again this year. And I want to encourage you to support Jeff. Galen's got a lot of support. Why? I don't know. Maybe he has more friends than Jeff. What's the deal, Jeff? Anyways, Jeff is riding on behalf of our region, and if you are interested in supporting him, go to Ride for Roswell and look up Jeff Zook, Z-O-O-K, and you can donate. It's real easy. I've already done that on his behalf. I've done 4 rides. I've not totally retired from doing it yet, but I've taken at least a break. COVID really messed this up a couple years ago, and then I overheated one year, and this past year I just decided to give my body a break and try to recoup. But so Ride for Roswell coming up in 2 weeks, and I do encourage you to support that effort, because the work they do up there, I don't know how many people I've talked to over the years that have gone to Roswell and got treatment and hope and cured. So please think about that. Okay. As human beings, we are just curmudgeons, aren't we? We complain about snow. We complain about the snow that isn't plowed. We complain about the snow that's at the end of our driveway. And then when it gets hot, then we complain about the potholes. And then when it gets even hotter, we complain because now they're fixing the potholes and paving our road. Get where I'm going with this? We just can't be pleased, can we? Well, be mindful if you're traveling about the county today or tomorrow, wherever, they're paving all over the place, and it's good. Our roads are getting repaired, and I know even back home in where I live in Ripley, they've just put this beautiful blacktop all the way down our road, and that's a first, I think. We've always been just what they call it, stone and oil or whatever, and so it's really nice to have a nice smooth road. And I know here on 394 they're doing some, and out on the thruway, and so just be mindful that you may have to wait a little bit and add a little time to your travel around the county. And that's just not here in Chautauqua County, it's everywhere. Okay, a couple other things I want to share with you before I move on to my regular announcements. The band I play with, the Midnight Growlers, we're going to be playing a venue I've never done before. I've played almost everywhere, but not here. The Roger Tory Peterson Institute, this coming Wednesday. They have a whole lineup of music throughout the week, throughout the summer, and we're going to be playing at 5 o'clock this Wednesday, June 15th. So I believe tickets are $20, and they provide refreshments and things like that. I'm sure it's a fundraiser for the Institute to keep it running, and it's a great venue there. It's beautiful, and I encourage you to come on by, and if you do, please do say hello, and I'd love to talk with you. Also, next Friday, coming up, week from yesterday, the band will be over at the Big Inlet at 5:30, and once again, if you've never been at the Big Inlet, great venue. Why do I mention these things? Self-serving, number one. Number two, I like to promote the various venues in the area. There's music playing everywhere. There's theater. There's all kinds of things that is coming back to what we've known as just a great area and community for the fine arts. And Chautauqua Institution's coming up here pretty soon, if they're not already open. I don't think they're open yet, are they? Not yet. Soon. And the Reg Linné up at the Fredonia Opera House. I mean, all the sporting, the fishing, everything that we have is just beautiful here in the county. So anyways, music is really firing up once again. Okay, so I have some announcements that we're going to get to. So let's see here. This comes from the Reg Linné down in Jamestown on 3rd Street. All right, here we go. This is called Animation Night. Never have there been 5 friends as infamous as the bad guys. Look at those guys. Friday, June 17th at 7 p.m. in a sensory-friendly showing. Saturday, June 18th at 2 p.m. Dashing pickpocket Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Shark, and Mr. Piranha and Miss Tarantula are all part of the crew. But when, after years of countless heists and being the world's most famous wanted villains, the gang is finally caught. Mr. Wolf brokers a deal. that he has no intention of keeping to save them all from prison. The bad guys will become the good guys? The Bad Guys is rated PG and is 100 minutes long. Sensory-friendly showings are presented with the volume set lower and lights in the theater set higher for patrons with sensitivity issues. Wow. Movement around the theater is encouraged as needed. Ideal first movie experience for toddlers. So this is definitely a family-friendly movie and how they're setting things up and making it comfortable for all ages. Upcoming movies at the Reg include Downtown Abbey. I've seen previews for that. It looks fantastic. That's the New Era. So Downtown Abbey, New Era. And that's going to be shown Wednesday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. And then all these movies are sponsored by Silver Tree Seniors of Jamestown. Tickets to movies are $7 for movies for usually $7, $6 for family films with an additional $1 theater restoration fee, as we know. You can go get tickets on Mondays and Fridays from 12 to 5, and 12 to 8 Wednesdays at the box office, or give them a call at 484-7070. And then coming up, include the 20th anniversary showing of the romantic comedy, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is going to be shown Wednesday the 15th at 7 p.m. All right. And then we talked about the bad guys. Okay? So, something to do in the evening. Good stuff. Moving along. What goes better together than local producers and consumers looking for healthy, fresh, local, and accessible food options? Well, what about late spring, early summer strawberries and rhubarb? I got rhubarb in my garden. I'm just waiting until it gets just a little longer. There are so many things that people can do with strawberries, and they put them on ice cream to make a strawberry sundae, spend Saturday afternoon inhaling the sweet smell of strawberry and rhubarb pie in the oven, cooking up some delicious strawberry jam, my wife does that, or jelly to enjoy a warm piece of toast on a chilly winter morning. The possibilities are literally endless. This week is the beginning of our local strawberry season with the unseasonably chilly and wet weather. It should make for a great strawberry crop this year. Other local produce that is in season is kale, rhubarb, lettuce, Swiss chard, and collard greens. That's hard to say. Our agricultural coordinator, now this is all from the Cornell Extension, Cassandra Scale, has talked with several local farms to confirm strawberry availability as well as other produce in hours of operation. Now, if you're interested, just go to the cornell.edu/Chautauqua and you'll find out all kinds of things there. Many local producers offer you-pick options so you can make memories at the strawberry patch with your family, Justin, and friends. You can also pick up fresh picked produce into your busy schedule by visiting any of the local locations and purchase already picked berries. Our producers are also at local farmer markets that have recently started up. Excuse me. Local farmers markets in days of operation. Well, you'll see those very often in the newspaper and so forth. Mayville has a farmers market. I think it's on Thursdays. You got Westfield today on Saturday mornings, and you got Jamestown farmer markets on Saturday mornings. Chautauqua County is home to over 1,500 farms, and more than 100 are selling their products directly to consumers through farm stores, roadside stands, and farmer markets, and so on. So, once again, how cool is it to live in a community that has everything that we have to offer, plus you can get fresh veggies and fruits, especially strawberries. Over in Ripley, we've got a big strawberry farm right there on Route 20. Okay, let's continue on. So summer's here, just about. I mean, we're just like right there. What could be better? The Jamestown Tarpskunks have announced today that the home game will be held on Thursday, June 30th at 6:30 p.m. and will be a community buyout night presented by the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency, one of my co-sponsors here, the IDA. All tickets for that night game will be free. I sound like Joe Namath now, those commercials. It's free. As of this year, the IDA has been serving Chautauqua County for 50 years. Rewarding the community with tickets will be part of a celebration recognizing all the valuable work with this organization and it has accomplished to date, according to Mark Ice, Chautauqua County Deputy County Executive for Economic Development. He's got the longest name in the county. He's also the CEO for the IDA. We are coming off a stellar year that we helped to create 314 jobs, retained 1,752 jobs, and made a total committed investment of $164 million in change here in the county. Whew. We stand on the shoulders of those who tirelessly worked here in the past as we push forward into the future with great momentum. All right, and then Jacob Kinberg, who's been on the show here, he's Director of Business and Sales Operations for the Tarpskunks, stated, the IDA has been working with us to create a celebration of Chautauqua County, its residents, and its businesses, and that the community can enjoy free of charge this baseball game. He added, it was important to us and the IDA that we found a way to reward our local community for the great support it showed. The Tarpskunks in 2022. By making tickets free to everyone for this game, the IDA is showing that same level of commitment to the community. Okay. And also keep in mind that you can go to the Jamestown Public Market on June 25th to get free tickets. Oh, it's going to be one of those shows. I can tell already my voice. And you can see the Tarpskunks mascot there at the public market. All right. And you also can get tickets for the game outside of the stadium before the first pitch at 6:30 or at the IDA office. And, well, there you go. Let's see, what else we got here? So we're going to have reps from the Tarpskunks next week, so we should have a lot to talk about. So anyways, we went last year. We had a great time, enjoyed the game, and it's really a fast-moving baseball game. You got some hungry baseball players that want to make a name for themselves, and they really are doing good stuff up there. All right, let's go to Dunkirk, just the opposite end of the county. Woo! They've got a whole bunch of stuff going, and I'm just going to give you a little piece of the action because the list probably is at least 2 pages long, but I'll give you a little quick summary that we have here. City of Dunkirk announces summer schedule of events. Summer is rolling in, and Dunkirk is excited to welcome the season to its beautiful waterfront community along Lake Erie. A variety of exciting, family-friendly events are lined up for the upcoming months. Mayor Willie Rosas and the City of Dunkirk offers a special thanks to the Summer 2022 Platinum level sponsors, DFT Communications, Chautauqua Nursing and Rehab Center. National Grid is the overall stage sponsor. The Dunkirk Flea Market, organized by Brian Meyer, will be held on Saturdays, May 7 through September 3, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Flea Market. I didn't know there was a flea market there. It's in the Route 5 and Washington Avenue parking lot. To become a vendor, you can contact Meyer at 680-0958. The Dunkirk Farmers Market, sponsored by Refresco, starts, well, it says today. I'm not sure if that's today. Will continue. Oh, it's on Wednesdays, okay? Sometimes I get these things early in the week. So every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. a farmer's market at the Dunkirk Senior Center located on the corner of Ruggles Street and Cliff Star Court. The award-winning Music on the Pier Summer Concert Series, sponsored by DFT Communications and the Chautauqua Nursing and Rehab Center, makes its return this week for 12 weeks, Thursdays, June 9th through the 25th. And the event features fantastic tunes, Arthur Gren, Southern Tier Brewery, beers, merit wine, slushies, and other concession vendors on the Dunkirk Pier and Memorial Park. So, if you're interested to know more about what's going on, give them a call at 366-9886. Talk to Scott Mikas at 366-9848. Okay, so things are happening at both ends of the county, up in Dunkirk, Jamestown, here, there, and everywhere. And I got a couple more things to share with you. Farmers markets everywhere. So this is a follow-up on things. There's even more farmer markets that I mentioned. Okay, farmer markets offer healthy food options for area residents. Many of the farmer markets across Chautauqua County are back at local parks or main streets for the season. Okay, and now here we go. Casadega Farmers Market will be available Sunday from June to October from 12:30 to 3:30 at Ames Common on Route 60 and Maple Avenue in Casadega. Dunkirk, we just talked about. Fredonia has a farmers market available every Saturday from May through October, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Jamestown Public Market, we just talked a little bit about. They run from 12 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're at 3rd Street, and we just talked about them not too long ago. Linnea was here, Carlson. Lakewood Farmers Market available. Lakewood has a farmers market Thursdays from June through September, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So Thursdays there in Lakewood. The Mayville Farmers Market and Mayville Farmers and Artisans Market, I was right, Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Village Park. And then, of course, the Westfield Farmers Market runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Saturday in Moore Park. So, somewhere in the county, you can get to a farmer's market and get some fresh produce. Support our local farmers. And finally, Chautauqua County Master Gardeners kick off the 2022 season. There's some people that are like serious gardeners in this county, and they're called Master Gardeners. And this is sponsored through the Cornell Cooperative Extension. All right, they're inviting the public to share some time at their new demonstration gardens for an evening of learning and asking questions on a noteworthy garden topic. Our demonstration gardens are those where master gardeners test garden techniques proven by the Cooperative Extension, and the public can learn about many of these cultivation and time-saving processes that make for a more successful home and community garden. Their 2022 trial called Cultural Roots of the Americas will feature vegetables with connections to cultures from Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and indigenous people of New York. Sounds pretty interesting. The sessions cover a variety of gardening topics and involve direct how-to methods in their demo garden. The Demonstration Gardens co-chair, Wiki Stapleton, announces the first session will be held on June 15th at 6 p.m. and other sessions you can learn about by going to their website. Okay, and finally, Becky's new car. The production that I've been involved with, we have some dates, and let's pop that up. It's going to be the last weekend of June. It's going to be Friday, June 24th. 2 shows on Saturday. You have one at 7:30 and at, 2 p.m. matinee. 7:30 on the 25th, 7:30 on the 24th, and then Sunday, it'll be at 2 p.m., a matinee as well. We got hit some illness, we regrouped, we're firing up rehearsals again, we're gonna be ready to go, and it's a fun production. And if you're interested, tickets are only $20, and you can go to Lakeshore Center for the Arts and get tickets, or show up and buy a ticket right then and there. I do recommend getting your tickets ahead of time, though. All right, we're going to take a breather. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Okay, we're back, and I do want us to focus now on the beautiful waterways that we have in Chautauqua County and how to be in the water safely. I want to welcome back her 4th season, Woodard, and you are like the poster person of water safety, I think. So
well, thank you. I try hard.
You do a good job.
I love being out on the water, and I love for people to do it safely. We always said, a safe day on the water has never spoiled a fun day.
Absolutely. Well,
safety and fun go hand in hand.
And I think I've shared with you that I had a bad experience when I was a young teenager. I almost drowned in Chautauqua County. And that's a real story. And luckily, it all worked out, obviously. But it took a while to get back on water, but I'm okay again.
Yeah. Well, good, because being out on the water is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to encourage people to be out there, but to practice some safety. And as you know, as we've talked in the past, is that I'm retired from state parks as a boating safety educator, and one of the programs I was involved with was called Wear It. And if you could follow 4 simple words, if I can just get you to listen and practice 4 simple words, you'll probably increase your safety out on the water, which is wear your life jacket.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Wear your life jacket.
Wear your life jacket. Were you counting? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Life jacket being 2 words.
I thought you were going to give me like this little code here or something.
Yeah. Nope. If you just wear your life jacket.
You know, and I don't know what happened on this, but recently there was a drowning right on the state line at the dam. I can't remember what it's called. It's just into Pennsylvania, and a couple older people were in a boat and somebody drowned. I never heard if they had a life preserver on or life jacket, but I have a tendency to think they might not have. And gosh, what a simple thing to wear. What's the reason why people don't want to wear their life jackets?
Well,
they're bulky. They're not comfortable. I get hot in them. You know, it's sticky.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's hot. I'll ruin my tan. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in a lot of those cases is they've chosen a life jacket that's the wrong life jacket for what they're doing, or the wrong size for what they're doing. And sometimes you just could be a little uncomfortable to be safe. Now I know I'm a kayaker, and I have a kayaking life jacket, which once you put it on, you can forget it's on.
Right.
It's sort of like putting your shoes on, and you put your shoes on, you forget they're there. They're just doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, this jacket has adjustments on the shoulders. It has adjustments on the side, and I can put it on, clip it. I can zip it up and clip it, and adjust it so that it's fits perfectly, and I can forget about it. With the kayaking, people will say, "Oh, it's uncomfortable. It hits the back of the seat and it rides up around my neck." Once again, they've chosen the wrong life jacket. You can see this one's got mesh in the back, and so if your kayak has a seat, that'll fit right in there.
Perfect.
Once you've got it adjusted. And you can see this is my state jacket here
Wear it.
with that wear it message, which I think is so important.
Right. You know, when I think of life jackets, I always think of those bulky orange things that we all
wore at summer camp.
Wore at camp,
Yeah.
or they give it to you on a cruise ship or whatever. But I've seen jackets now in stores and so forth, and they really have come a long way.
They really have. This is the jacket that I showed is what's called a type 3 or a vest type, and there's all kinds depending on the kind of boating you do. I mean, this was for specifically kayaking, but there's also ones that are for your personal watercraft, which are your jet skis, wave runners, sea-doos. They're built a little differently. They built almost to a higher standard, so that they've got more clips and more zips and tougher fabric, so that if you impact with the water, you fly off of your jet ski, or if you're tubing and you fall off, the jacket won't leave your body. It doesn't mean that it's protecting you from personal harm, but the jacket will be on you and be floating you in the water.
Okay, so basically, one of these life jackets, you fall in the water, eventually you're going to be with your head up in the air.
Yeah. And the type 3s or the vest type jackets, they will not float you face up. That you still have to be conscious and be able to do some movement. Those bulky ones that you were talking about, you didn't like on the cruise ships, they're an emergency life jacket.
Right.
And they're meant to turn you face up and hold you very, very high in the water. They have more flotation than the recreational ones do, but they're used mainly for emergencies.
So if you had a Sea-Doo, a boat, and a kayak, you probably should have 3 different jackets?
You could, yeah, depending on what you're choosing. You could wear this probably in all of your except for the jet skis or when you're water skiing or tubing. But just like we don't have just one pair of shoes. You know, we have dress-up shoes, we have shoes for sports, we have water shoes, we have sandals. Same thing with the life jackets.
Good idea.
And it's cheap insurance.
Yeah. You know, while we were just talking, I was thinking, folks that get out in the water, they think they're healthy and everything's fine. And how many times do you hear about somebody having a medical emergency out in the middle of the water and drop over and fall in the water or whatever? I mean, we never know on some of these things. And Gosh, it just seems silly not to. Do you have any statistics about anything when it comes to water safety and life jackets? I mean, about how they save lives or anything like that? Is there
Well,
anything?
yeah, they do save lives. I'll give you just some kind of general sort of things, is that in the last 2005 until last year in New York State, 62% approximately of fatalities in our state, in New York State, were drownings.
62%?
Were boating fatalities were drownings. And what that means is someone was no longer in their boat. They didn't have a medical emergency.
Right.
They didn't have a collision. They fell out of the boat, or the boat tipped over or something. They were no longer in the boat. They were now in the water, and they were unable to swim to save themselves. They were unable to control their breathing, perhaps, and because their mouth and nose couldn't remain above the water, they drowned. And that was the only thing that was wrong with them, was they were no longer in their boat for some kind of a reason that happened. And that's often when we were talking excuses why people don't wear a life jacket. I can swim.
Yeah,
but-
that's what I thought that at the time I had my issue.
But if you fall out of a boat or are thrown from a boat, it's not a swim. It's an emergency. And as we know in this case, it's a life-threatening emergency.
Well, and I would suppose if you're knocked out of a boat, you're not expecting it, and the first thing you end up doing is gulping water,
Yep.
and you're down for the first count, and sometimes you don't get too many chances to come back up.
Yeah, and with a life jacket, if you are thrown or fall or capsized, there's probably a good chance that your head will still be above the water. And so once you get yourself under control, because it's kind of, your adrenaline's going to get you, because you don't expect that. But at least your head will be above the water. You'll be floating. You won't have to be considering that I've got to swim and I've got to kick, so that you can get yourself under control and breathe. Because if your head goes under and you gulp, you have a gasp reflex, particularly if it's cold water, and you breathe in water. One gasp can bring in up to a liter of water, and if you fill your lungs with water, there's no returning from that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side,
Yeah.
If you got your life jacket on and you do fall out of your kayak, for something happens, and your buddies drag you out, or somebody comes by in a boat and drags you out, you've got a good story. You're wet, you've got a good story, you're okay, you can paddle again.
Here you go.
Yeah.
You live another day.
Yeah, you can live to paddle another day.
In my opening comment, I talked about having so many opportunities to be on the water. In your mind, what would be one of the bodies of water that you really should respect more than any other?
Any body of water that's taller than you,
Okay.
that you can't stand up in.
Okay.
I think that any time you go out, you can't assume you're going to be okay because you're on a farm pond. You can't assume you're going to be okay because you're only going out a short distance.
Right.
That something could happen in any of those circumstances.
Right, and alluding back to what I was talking about when I was a kid, I assumed something. I assumed, number one, I could swim, which I did. I was a pretty good swimmer back then. But what we did was we jumped out of the boat, thought it was a hot day, and we were going to impress whoever we were with, and we were swimming. There was three of us, and we were swimming ashore, and we thought, oh gosh, we're close now. We'll just walk the rest of the way. Forgot that somebody had told us they had dredged this particular area for larger boats, and instead of walking in what would have been probably 3 feet of water, I think I was in like 20 feet of water.
Yep.
And there's your assumption thing.
Yep.
So if I had a life jacket on, I wouldn't have had to go through that trauma. But luckily, they finally got the boat over to me. But whew, that was pretty weird. But as far as the lakes go, I know a lot of people will say Lake Chautauqua is Lake Chautauqua, and you got to be careful with it and respect it. But Lake Erie seems to be more treacherous, or more of a concern, or it's more dramatic, or it changes faster. Any thoughts on Lake Erie?
Well, when you're choosing to go out in a boat, and whether you're going to go kayaking or canoeing or stand-up paddleboarding, or whether you're going to be in a personal watercraft or a motorboat, is that, one is you should be able to be competent with your boat. And that's going to make a big difference on what kind of a day you decide to go out on. And using the example with let's say canoeing, is you could canoe on Lake Erie, but Lake Erie is a big lake. It gets windy fast. That if you're an inexperienced canoer, it might not be a good choice for you to go out on Lake Erie.
Try out,
That maybe
get
you
more
come-
experience somewhere else.
You know, come to Chautauqua Lake or Bear Lake or Finley Lake, somewhere that's smaller. But so your ability is going to make a difference on what you're going to choose. The weather is going to make a big difference. If you're choosing that, you know, I've wanted to go out to, you know, Barcelona on Lake Erie, and you get out there and you realize that the waves are coming in on the beach. You look out over the lake and there's clouds. Sometimes you just have to say to yourself, nope, this is not the right day.
Right.
I'll come back or I'll go somewhere else. So, you know, choosing and watching the weather. Same thing as if you're out on the lake. You look around and you realize all of a sudden the clouds have come in, the winds come up. You know, being a smart boater is it's time to say, I think I need to go home. So looking at your skill level, looking at the weather, making sure that you have your safety equipment, that you are wearing a life jacket. And I advocate, both as an educator from state parks and continuing today, is that if you're in a kayak, a canoe, a stand-up paddleboard, a little pedal boat, small sailboat, small motorboat, you should choose to wear your life jacket. And when you choose to wear your life jacket, you also have to choose to have it zipped, clipped, tied, whatever the fasteners are, and that you choose one that's the correct size for you. Because if it's not the right size, if it's too big, it's just gonna, you're not gonna be able to have it tight enough to hold onto your body. We always said, life jackets float, you don't. So you want that strapped to your body. You want it to be in good repair. So if the buckles or clips are broken, or if the fabric is ripped or worn,
Right.
it's not a good life jacket. You need to trade that in. And the other is to have it readily accessible. What's more readily accessible than if it's on your body?
There you go.
So some of those choices. I'm going to wear my life jacket. I'm going to watch the weather. I'm going to not push my skill level. I'm not going to be afraid to say, this is a day that I stay home and paddle another day.
What about children? Obviously, they have small life jackets for kids, but I mean, there's. All right, let's go with start at the beginning. Like infants, when they're in the boat, how do we protect them? I'm talking like non-walkers, little guys.
Well, in terms of laws for life jacket wear, is that children under the age of 12 are required by law to wear a life jacket while on board a vessel, unless it's in a fully enclosed cabin. With kids, you need to have that. That's important to have that properly sized jacket. It's not like winter coats and shoes that you buy the biggest one that you can manage because they'll grow into it. With kids with life jackets, it needs to fit. So it might mean that this year you buy one size, next year you might have to buy another size. Because a large life jacket isn't going to make them safer. With infants, and this is just as kind of my personal feeling, and also because I've experienced with my own kids when they were little, infant life jackets are built with, they have a big heads-up collar, so it'll turn them face up.
Oh, all right.
And it has a ton of flotation up in the front so that it pops them up with not much in the back. But with all this flotation in the front and the collar, little babies aren't real comfortable. And I found with my own kids when they were little, when you put those on, I couldn't have a fun boating experience while they're crying the whole time. So they do make a jacket for infants. Perhaps your infant might like it better than my kids when they were infants did. I often say, find a babysitter, have a nice boating ride, and then come back. Once they get to be a toddler, a little bit bigger, their jackets fit a little different.
Okay.
And we found that with boating toddlers, you know, they love their life jackets.
They're cool.
Because they're cool. And also, if you have kids and you're choosing life jackets, let them choose their own life jacket. There's all kinds of cool cartoon characters and styles and colors. And so it becomes something that they do want to wear.
Okay. One of the things that I mentioned early on before the show, I wanted to talk about situations that may come up and how people should handle them. We'd say wear your life jacket, it'll protect you, but I want to delve a little bit into a couple other water safety things. So let me just start. So you're in the water or you're boating or whatever, and you're out in the middle of the water and lightning starts to strike. I mean, that's not a good deal, I don't think.
No, not a good thing. But going back to what I had said earlier is checking your forecasts and making sure that if it looks like there's possibility of weather that you'd prefer not to be out in, and we're talking about us that are just generally recreational boaters. We don't have to be out there. If you do happen to get caught in lightning, particularly in this area, if you're on Chautauqua Lake, is the important thing is to get off the lake, because in terms of the lake, it's flat and you're the highest point. You don't want to be the highest point and attract lightning, so get to the nearest dock. Lake owners are good people, and if there's a storm raging, they're going to want you on their dock and sitting if they're on their property until you're safe without a problem.
Now,
So
people are going to say, well, just get in the water, I'll be safe.
I would suggest probably, in the Chautauqua Lake situation, is that you could probably get to shore
Right, it's
or
not
get
that
to
far
somebody's dock and not too far off. And there again, watching the weather. That when you see the clouds rolling in, it's time to move. It's not time to move when all of a sudden overhead lightning is crackling.
Right. And it happens around here. It comes in pretty quick, and you should be alert of that. But I agree with you. You should check the weather report. And now with these phones that we have, you can see by the hour what the weather report is and radar and stuff.
Well, and you can also be looking around. Don't always put your face in your phone.
Oh, absolutely.
Look
absolutely.
around, and if the big black cloud is rolling in, it's time to
What
move.
I meant, before you even leave the house, you
Yeah.
could kind of get a feel for
You can get
the
it,
weather
yeah.
report. Okay, good. A lot of people are out there kayaking, and I know you brought a paddle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere without a life jacket or paddle.
So why did you bring the paddle today?
Well, I just brought the paddle because some other safety pieces.
Holy mackerel.
That kayaking is, it's a hugely popular sport. Kayaks are pretty inexpensive now. You can get them for for $200. You can be a boater, which is great. Nothing nicer than being out on the water, as long as you do it safely. Life jacket. But this is another piece here, and I don't know if you can see it flashing in the lights there. I'm looking, but New York State Parks has a program that's called Safe in Sight, and there are little shiny stickers that you can put on your paddle blades, and you put them on both sides. And when we're out on the water in a kayak, we're very low to the water. We're sharing the waterways with everybody who's out there, bigger boats, and kayaks are hard to see, and so this accentuates the look of your paddle going up and down, and can be seen quicker and identified quicker as something out on the water by motorboaters. And actually, there's a study that's been done.
I haven't heard that. Let's do a close-up, Justin, of that sticker so people know. Where do they get these stickers?
If you go to the New York State Parks website and go into our boating area.
Okay, there you go. Just kind of hold it. Just
there you go. See, Safe in Sight.
Okay.
And it's
like
just
a little mirror, isn't it?
Like a little mirror, little paddle. They call it paddle flash.
Okay.
And actually, even without a sticker, when somebody's paddling and your paddling is going up and down, that's what boaters will see, because your paddle's up in the air and then your paddle's up in the air. With the extra flash in it, then it accentuates it a little bit.
And I suppose if they don't get it from New York State, they could get anything that would have a reflective material.
Yeah, and there's reflective tape. There's some commercial products you can buy, but you can get them free from New York State.
Here you go. Okay. And so, is there a website they go to?
Yeah, if you do parks.ny.gov and click on the Get Active tab and then the boating.
Okay.
And you can go in there. And that's a great spot to get all your information on boating safety, including, because we've talked a little bit about motorboats, is that if you are going to operate a motorboat, there's required education. And I'm going to give you anybody who is born January 1st, on January 1st or later, or earlier, 1988, you'll be required this year to have a boating safety certificate. Okay. So regardless if you've been operating a boat for the entire 34 years of your life at that point, you'll need a boating safety certificate. And it's actually gearing up. So in 2023, if you're born on or after January 1st, 1983, you'll be required to have a boating safety certificate. The next year in 2024, January 1st or later, 1978, you'll be required to have a boating safety certificate. And then in 2025, everybody required, regardless of your age, regardless of how many years you've been operating a boat, you'll be required to have a boating safety certificate. And if you go to the parks.ny.gov, you can find classroom courses, and you can also find online courses.
Okay, Jeff would like you to say that very slow one more time for the website for both the stickers or just the parks, because he's going to type it up for us. So okay, so go ahead.
All right, this is for you, Jeff. So it's parks.ny.gov. And then for the folks listening, if you then go there and click on Get Active, you get a drop-down box, and click on boating, and that's got everything you need to know about boating in New York State.
Okay, so we go to this website, and then you do an online course? How's that work?
You can do an online course. There's some choices. There's actually 8 different authorized providers in New York State that you can choose whichever course. They're a little bit different. Most of them have a cost. They're somewhere between $25 and $35, which includes the cost of a certificate. I'll give you a little plug for Boat US, which is actually a free course, and it's just $10 to get your boating safety certificate.
Okay, so
but there are other choices there also.
All right, so you go online, you get your boat, you get your certificate, you print it, and then you keep it like your driver's license.
Yep, you can get an instant certificate. So if you take your course and you want to get right out in the water, you can do that. Then they'll send you a little plastic card. You can also, once you've taken your course, have it added to your driver's license.
Got it.
So there's a little anchor icon that DMV will put on there. And so if you're stopped by a Marine Patrol officer, they ask for identification, you can give them your driver's license. It'll also show that you have a boating safety certificate, because they'll be looking for those also.
So I'm assuming that the Sheriff's Department that has the water division, or whatever they call themselves, that they could stop you and say, can I see your certificate?
If they've stopped you for some reason, it's in stopping in a motorboat or any boat on the water, the Marine Patrols here, which is the Chautauqua County Sheriffs, also DEC can. They're also police, and they may do that on the lake. They will stop you if they see something that appears is wrong. They can't just stop you for the heck of it unless they're doing a blanket.
It's just like driving a car, right?
Exactly, it's exactly.
But if you don't have that certificate, they could fine you? Or?
Yeah, but once they have a reason to stop you, they can look and ask for everything.
Okay.
They'll do an equipment check on your boat, and if it appears that you may be boating while impaired, they'll do a sobriety test and things. So, and now if you fall into one of those age categories, it's required to have a boating safety certificate. They'll ask for that also.
All right, and if you don't, you're probably going to get a ticket.
You could get a ticket, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just information.
So you don't want a ticket because we boat for fun, right? So we want to have everything right. Plus, we find I teach the boating safety course, and often because of these increasing age groups, we'll see students who've boated for a very long time. They're good operators, but we'll go through the course and they're kind of begrudging. And the next thing you know, they're saying, "I didn't know that. I didn't know that." So people will find that they do learn some things in our course.
Okay.
And they're geared for safety.
Okay. I don't think we've talked about water skiing.
No, we haven't.
And I know people water ski everywhere, but what are some basics that people should think about? Pick a lake, or all the lakes, or just in general, whatever. Okay.
Well, just fun fact. If you're on Finley Lake and you're water skiing, you have to go around counterclockwise.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
That's a local law, yeah, that you go around the lake counterclockwise. But for water skiing, there's some boating safety issues there. If you are the person who's at the end of the rope, if you're water skiing or tubing or air chair or any of the things that are on a rope being towed behind the boat, you must have a life jacket on. And then when you choose that life jacket, you're going to take a look. When you're at the store, you're going to read. This tells you everything about the life jacket here, and it will say that it's strength tested to maybe 50 or 100 miles per hour, and its approved uses for towed sports and personal watercraft, that's the jacket that will protect you and stay on your, well, not protect you, but will stay on your body if you fall off your water skis. This one, when you read it, will say it is not approved for that sport because it's a kayaking jacket, and I never go very fast when I'm kayaking.
You know, every time you're on, I learn at least 3 or 4 new things. So I didn't know about the counterclockwise, and I did not know that that was in the jacket.
In the jacket, yep. So you can't lose it if you need the information about it. And life jackets also need to be Coast Guard approved. Most of them are, but you want to check that.
Well, sometimes people buy things online, you know,
Yeah.
and they may not be approved.
Well, life jacket, you may want to buy it somewhere where you can try it on
Yeah,
so that you
for
know
sure.
you like it. So you've got your life jacket, you've got your person that's being towed behind the boat. In the boat, you need to have your operator. You actually have what's called the ski team. You have the operator who's operating the boat.
Okay.
That person's responsibility is to safely operate the boat. Then there needs to be an observer. And the observer's job is to watch the skier and then relay information from the skier to the operator. And the observer should be sitting facing the back of the boat so that they can watch the skier. And the observer and the skier have to know and agree on the use of hand signals.
Okay.
So you can go faster, you can go slower, you can cut, you've fallen off, you've fallen in the water. This is okay. There's a couple different different signals, but you can, or this is okay. But you want to know that so that the person saying, the person's fallen off, I need to let the operator know to circle back around, or they want to go faster or slower, or this is back to the dock.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
you have hand signals to communicate so that the skier has some control. The skier has to ski responsibly. They can't be throwing water on neighboring boats or kayakers when they're slaloming. The observer has to be at least 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Can't be a dog, can't be a mannequin, has to be a real person. Can't be a mirror.
Okay.
The operator can't use a mirror and be looking behind. Their job is to make sure that they relay that information back and forth, and the operator's job is to safely operate the boat.
So if you're skiing and you, for whatever reason, are no longer connected to your rope, you're out there in the middle of the water, I mean, that's kind of a dangerous situation, isn't it?
Yep. But you've got your life jacket on, so you're floating, so you don't have to be working hard to stay afloat. You're going to get your skis, and one of the things that you can do to make yourself more visible is to poke your ski up and hold it up so
yeah.
it makes a bigger target both for your boat to come back and get you and for any other boats that are out there. And I think that's why Findlay does the one direction, is so that you don't have people going in a bunch of directions and not having people know how to predict what somebody's doing out on the water.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Years ago, we were at a resort with my parents up in Canada, way up, and everybody was water skiing, and I was still traumatized at that point. And they kept saying, you should try this. I go, no, I'm not going near the water. So it was like the last day, and I kept watching everybody taking off. I said, you know, I'm smarter than the average bear. I should be able to do this. So I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it was like I was getting clammy being on the water, but I said, I got to do this. And I got up, and I was having a great time. I was water skiing, and the problem was that I could only see as far as, like whatever, a quarter of a mile out what people were doing. And I did not know that when the boat turned, I had to do something. And so I went head first into the water. I didn't know how to turn.
You got a good ride because it
Had a
pulled
good
you
ride.
right out there.
I was king of the water right then and there for about 20 or 10 minutes. But once it turned, so anyways, but it kind of like was a catharsis. I got back into the water again. It was fun.
It is a great feel. And a lot of people tube because you can put your smaller kids. And when you're tubing, you don't want to go real fast. And you want to be very careful for the boat operator when you're doing those turns not to swing that tube out too far when you've got people on it. You have to be aware of where the docks are and those things, so that tubing has some, looks like it would be easy, but tubing has some safety considerations
I would think
also.
that you could really get whipped easily into something, on there, because really the tuber doesn't have the control that like a water skier. Disengage, or you can turn. Well, if you know how to turn, and that sort of thing. On the tube, you're just tethered, and that's it. So, if people are watching right now and they want to go boating or whatever, I'm assuming there are places that you don't want to take your boat because it's too shallow, or there's something in the water. Are there maps that people can get of Chautauqua Lake or the various lakes in the area?
Yeah, there are. For the most part, there are not real good bottom charts for the lakes, but there is a Chautauqua Lake map that'll give you an idea of some of the things. That if you when you take your boating safety course, you'll get some tips for managing, because obviously our boat sits in the water and then our prop may be lower, that we're going to have to be aware of how shallow you can take your boat, because you don't want to be grounding it. With some of the navigation aids on the lake, we have orange and white buoys, which if there are water that's at low water is going to be less than 4 feet thereabouts, because obviously levels are always changing. But New York State Parks Marine Services Bureau has a buoy crew who places all the buoys that are out on the lake. And there are in Chautauqua Lake some that are out in the middle of the lake. If you're down in Lakewood, there's Whitney's Crib, which right in the middle of the lake there's a string of buoys that warn you there's shallow water.
Really? It's
Right.
just the way it's all built up underneath
Yep,
somehow.
yep.
Wow. Okay.
So knowing what those buoys mean, and then having a chart or a map.
And talking
helpful.
to the local folks too, they can tell you where
Yep.
not to go, or if you're renting a boat and that sort of thing. So that's good to know.
Yep.
Now, Randy was here prior to this starting the show. We were talking about snorkeling and scuba diving. Are those allowed in the lakes here?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, what are some words of wisdom for snorkelers? Let's go there.
Well, I'm not much of a swimmer or a snorkeler, but again, going back to some of the boating safety information related specifically to scuba divers, is that scuba divers, if you're out in the lake, should have a flag, and it's called a diver down flag. It's a red flag with a white stripe. Now I can't remember. Anyway, it's a red and white flag. And they display that on an inner tube, and they have to stay within 100 feet, and boats have to stay 100 feet away from that particular little marker.
So is this anchored in the water?
No, it's attached to the scuba diver.
So it kind of goes
So
right along with you.
so they can go, and if they're tethered 100 feet, they drag that along with them. If you see that, then you need to stay back away from them.
Now, what about
And I would say if you're a scuba diver or a snorkeler, you would probably do the same thing.
Okay, because you can only see that little
Yep.
tube, when you're really close up.
Yep. And if you're a swimmer, we have a lot of people. I don't know if in Chautauqua Lake they do it, but I know up in the Adirondacks, a lot of people like to swim across the lake, and lake swimmers.
That's not high on my list. No.
Nor is it on my list. But if you are going to do that open water swimming, you should tow something, a float, or sometimes people will tow a little kayak, or have somebody escorted you, because just your head in the water is very hard to see.
Yeah. Okay, we're running low on time. So one quick question, and then I'll ask you to wrap up. Capsizing. What's the first thing you should do if your boat flips over? I mean, what should you do?
Well, if you have that out of boat experience, is you want that life jacket on.
Okay.
Because then you're there able to pop up and grab your paddle or grab your boat to collect them if they're nearby. And if you are outside, and if it's a bigger boat, in a capsize situation, you always want to get back into your boat or to be hanging onto your boat, because
Are there
it's a bigger
whistles on
target.
these jackets or anything like
Yeah,
that?
and actually we'll do the speed talking, but I always suggest that on every life jacket that you have a whistle.
Okay.
If you're in a kayak, canoe, or rowboat, or a one-person boat, you have to have a sound signal, and your officer who may stop you is going to look to see you're required to have a life jacket, you're required to have a sound signaling device, which the whistle fulfills that. It's not a law that you have to have a whistle on every life jacket, but that's a very good safety practice.
Perfect. We're down to like hardly any time, so what's the last thing you want people to know when they're out on the water this summer?
Well, like people to have a good time, make some good choices, and guess what I'm going to say? Wear it.
Okay. And Jeff, let's pop up that website one more time before we go, if you can. There we go. It's parks.ny.gov, and all kinds of good information. Get your boating certificate there. Ro, as always, thank you. I learned at least 5 new things here every time you come on.
Good, because I'm running out of things to say.
No, you're perfect. You're perfect. So, folks, be safe. Enjoy Chautauqua County's resources and the waters bodies that we have out here. And we're going to do this again next week. So have fun out there and go out to a farmer's market and grab a boat and do all kinds of fun things. Go listen to some music. Bye now. Yeah,